Today I am going to explain message authentication. What is the message authentication? Generally, in the previous class, I explained the message digest. What is the message digest? If you send any message through a hash function, then the output of that hash function is called the message digest. The message digest guarantees the integrity of the message. It guarantees that the message has not been changed. Suppose if the message is changed in between the sender and the receiver, by comparing the message digest value, we can check whether the message is changed or not. So message digest guarantees the integrity of the message, but it is not guaranteed for message authentication. What is the message authentication? A message digest does not authenticate the sender of the message. For example, what is the message authentication? For example, when Alice sends a message to Bob, Alice sends a message to Bob. Here, Bob needs to know if the message is coming from the Alice. He must know this message is coming from Alice. So every recipient or every recipient should know the sender of the message. That is called message authentication. That means the message which is received by the recipient should know the sender's authentication. So how we ensure the message authentication? Generally, to provide message authentication, as per our example, Alice needs to provide some additional proof along with the message. He should provide some additional proof that it is Alice sending the message and not a fraud person. So if we send the authenticated message, the sender should send a message along with some proof which is sent by him. Then the recipient, after receiving that message and by checking that additional information of proof, he come to know this message came from so and so person. That's why here Alice needs to provide some proof that it is Alice is sending the message and not a fraud person. Generally, the message digest means if you send a message through a hash function, if you give a message to a hash function, that hash function converts our message and gives some hash value, equivalent hash value. So what is the digest here? The digest created by the hash function is normally called modification detection code, MDC, because this code can detect any modifications in the message. So whatever we have generated a message digest by sending a message to the hash function, the output of the hash function is called message digest. That message digest That message digest is also called as modification detection code. It is also called as modification detection code, because this code can detect any modifications in the message. So simply the message digest is also called as the MDC, modification detection code. Here, to ensure the message authentication, we need message authentication code. We need message authentication code instead of modification detection code. So to ensure the message authentication, we need message authentication code MAC instead of MDC. So instead of MDC, we are using MAC. So if you use message authentication code instead of modification detection code MDC, then we will ensure the message authentication. We will get the message authentication. So what is the message modification detection code, MDC? So MDC, what is the MDC? MDC is nothing but the message digest is called modification detection code that can prove the integrity of the message. That message has not been changed. Integrity of the message means we can check the message is changed or modified or not. That is called message integrity. So modification detection code is used to prove the integrity of the message. If Alice needs to send a message to Bob, for example, if Alice needs to send a message to Bob and be sure that the message will not change during transmission. Suppose Alice wants to, here is the Alice wants to send a message to Bob, and you must ensure that the message will not change during the transmission. For that purpose, Alice can create a message digest. Alice can create a message digest that is called MDC and send both message and the message digest MDC to the Bob through different channels. Now Bob receives the actual message through one channel. That may be any insecure channel also, no problem. And he also received the message digest MDC through a secured channel. So here he received two things. Bob received two things. First of all, what is our assumption? What is our example? Suppose assume Alice wants to send a message M to Bob. Alice wants to send a message to Bob, M to Bob. Then he need to generate MDC, that is modification detection code, by sending his message to hash function. First he sends his message to hash function, and this hash function generates the message digest that is called MDC. Now Alice sends the original message M through some insecure channel to Bob. At the same time, Alice also sends this MDC message digest through a channel which is immune to change. That means it is the secure channel to Bob. So here Bob received the message M. Bob received message M through this channel, and he also received message digestion code from the Alice. So here, after receiving the message M, Bob again send that received message to the hash function and creates a separate MDC, with the recipient received message. So Bob creates a new MDC by sending his received message M to hash function. So Bob sends this M to hash function, and this hash function generates a new MDC. Now Bob has generated one MDC by using the received message. Again, he also received a separate MDC from Alice through the secured channel. Now Bob has MDC which is sent directly by Alice, and he also has a new MDC which is generated by him. Now he compares this MDC and this MDC, whether both are same or not. If both are same, means that message is not modified, and he accepts that message. If this message and MDC and this MDC are not same, that means the message which is sent by Alice was modified in between. So that's why he will simply reject that message. So this is the way of sending the message from Alice to Bob. So which ensures the message integrity. So the message integrity can be achieved by using modification detection code. This is nothing but the message digest. So once again, I want to repeat again. Suppose Alice wants to send a message M to Bob. For that purpose, first Alice send this message to hash function, and this hash function creates the message digest, that is called MDC. Now Alice sends this message directly through some insecure channel to Bob. Again, he also sends this message modification digest code, that is message digest code, through a secure channel. Now Bob received the message M and the MDC. Here Bob send the received message M to hash function, and that hash function generates the new MDC. Here Bob has two MDCs. One is the new MDC which is generated by him, and one MDC which is sent by the Alice. Now he compared both the MDCs. If the both MDCs are same, then the message is not changed. If both the MDCs are different, that means message is changed, message is modified in between the sender and receiver. That is the use of the modification detection code. So here Alice must send the MDC through the secured channel only. Suppose if the sender sends or Alice sends the message and MDC both through some insecure channel, the middle person, for example, say Eve, can receive the message and the MDC and change that message, modified that message, even he creates his own MDC and send both to the Bob. Here, Bob don't know whether this message is sent from Eve or Alice. So that's why, for the security purpose, Alice must send, or that means that sender must send his MDC through the secured channel, and message can be sent through secured or unsecured channel. Now, what is the message authentication code? So, message authentication code, to ensure the integrity of the message and the data authentication, we need to change modification detection code, that means MDC, to a message authentication code. Simply here, you have to replace the message modification detection code with the message authentication code. So to ensure both integrity and the data or message authentication, it is simply replace the modification detection code with the message authentication code. The only the difference between the MDC and the MAC is that MAC includes a secret key between Bob and Alice. Here, the message authentication code additionally uses a secret key between the Alice and Bob. So here, Alice and the Bob, they are using a separate secret. They are using additionally secret key. But in the case of the MDC, that means only if it is message integrity, there is no need of secret key. But here MAC uses additionally at the sender side and receiver side a separate key. This is the additional information. Now, if you observe the block diagram example, Alice wants to send a message to Bob. He must ensure there should be the message integrity and message authentication. That means for that purpose, Alice wants to send the message to Bob. First of all, he send that message, Alice send that message M to hash function along with some secret key K value. Now, hash function received, the input to the hash function is message M and the secret key value K. By using this message and secret key, the hash function generates or creates message authentication code. So how the message authentication code generated here? The hash function generated the message authentication code by using the message as well as the secret key K value. Now, so Alice has the message M and he generated message authentication code. So he combined the message and message authentication code. He combined message and message authentication code and send the combination of message and message authentication code to Bob through any secure channel or insecure channel. There is no problem. So here Alice sends the combination of the message M and the message authentication code. The combination of message M and message authentication code to Bob through a channel. that may be insecure channel or secure channel. So here Bob received the combination of message M and the message authentication code. He received the combination M plus MAC, message and MAC code. Here Bob separates the message and message authentication code. He separates the message and message authentication code. Then Bob again generates the new message authentication code by sending the received message and the secret key k value to the hash function. That hash function generates the new MAC. So Bob generates the new message authentication code by sending the received message M and the secret key value, which is known by both Alice and Bob. So he sends the received message M and the secret key k value to hash function and generates the new MAC value. And he also has the MAC value which is sent by the Alice. So this MAC is sent by the Alice, this MAC is generated by the Bob. Now he compares both MACs. If both are same, that means both MACs are same, that means he received the message without any modifications, and he ensures that the message came from Alice because this message MAC because this new MAC is generated by using the secret key value which is known by Alice and Bob only. That's why he came to know this message is sent by Alice only. So this is the message authentication code. This is flow. Here, how is the security in the message authentication code? Generally, assume here Eve is some middle person, attacker. How can Eve forge a message without having the key? Generally, the middle person wants to modify the message in between the transmission. So for that purpose, he must know the key value. Without the key value, without knowing the key value, how the middle person modifies or forger the message. So generally, in three ways he can do it. If size of the key allows exact to set, the size of the key is very less, you may try all possible keys to digest the message. If the key size is small, you may try all possible keys to digest the message. That is one thing. Otherwise, use pre-image attack. Third is given some pairs of messages and their max. You has given the pairs of messages and their max by applying these messages and their max, you can manipulate them to come up with a new message and its digest. So the security of the MAC depends on the security of the underlying hash algorithm. So if the hash function is very strong, then the security of the MAC is more. What is the nested MAC value? Nested MAC value. What is the nesting? Nesting means if you use a hash function within another hash function, that is the nested hash function. To improve the MAC more security, to improve the MAC security, nested MACs for designed, nested MACs for design in which hashing is performed twice. Nesting MAC means in the nested MAC, the hashing of the message will be done two times, twice. That's why there is more secured of the message. In the first step, the key is concatenated with the message and is hashed to create an intermediate digest. So at the first hash, it creates the intermediate MAC message authentication code. In the second step, the key is concatenated again, the key is added to the intermediate MAC, then creates the final digest, final MAC value. So here it is the nested message. Suppose it is the message, this message with some key value, message with this is the K, this is the M. So message and using the K value, both are sent to the hash function. This is the first hash function and generates the intermediate MAC value. This is the, assume this is the intermediate message authentication code. Again with this MESC, apply the same key value with this MAC and generates, and both are sent to the again hash, second hash function, and finally creates the final MAC authentication code, message authentication code. So here the message is hashed two times with the same key value. That's why the message is more secure in the case of nested MAC. Generally, we have the HMAC and CMAC. So in the case of the HMAC means hashed MAC. HMAC algorithm stands for the hashed or hashed based message authentication code. HMAC means hash based message authentication code. It is the normal message authentication code. It uses hashing concept twice, two times. That is a nested hashing. It uses hashing function two times. So great resistant to attacker. Great resistant to the attacker. So HMAC consists of twin. HMAC consists of twin benefits of hashing and MAC. So HMAC consists of two benefits, twin benefits. One is hashing, another is the message authentication code. So this is the HMAC. If you see the block diagram, if you see the working of the HMAC, generally here the working of the HMAC starts with taking a message M containing blocks of length B bits. That means assume we have the message M. This is the message M. This is divided into, M is divided into some equal size blocks, equal size number of blocks. Suppose if the last block is less than the, assume the block size is B bits, that means M is the message. It is divided into different blocks of B bits size. This is B bit size, this is B bit size, this is B bit size. Suppose if the last block is less than the B bits, some of the bits may be padded to the last block. Now this is the message, and for all these message blocks, this is the first message block, second message block, up to n message blocks are there. To all these message blocks, additionally we are padding B bits to the key, some K secret key value. by adding some of the binary values. So here we have performed. So here one thing, let me tell once again. This is the n bit, n blocks. These are the n blocks. These are the m blocks coming from message m. These are the m blocks, m1, m2, m4. And this b bits is the key, secret key. Generally, the secret key is added with some padded some b bits to secret key to make equal size all the blocks. So here we have, finally we have n blocks with b bits size and one key value with b bits size. Here IPAD means you can exclusive or you can add some of the input bits to the key to get the b bits. So here finally we have the n blocks of the message and one key value. So by sending all these to the hash function, this hash function, this is the first hash function. This hash function generates n bits message. Otherwise, it generates intermediate HMAC, intermediate message authentication code of n bits size. So the first hash function received all the n blocks of the message as well the secret key k value and generates one HMAC value of size n bits. We can say this is the intermediate MAC. The output of this is the intermediate MAC of n bits size. So to this one, add some b bits. Added some b bits to this HMAC, intermediate HMAC. Add some b bits to make some equal size, and again to this HMAC, intermediate HMAC, add the secret key with this secret key added with some constant value, and finally we will get the b bits of key value. This is the key value of b bits. This is the b bits of the intermediate k. So here we have b bits of the intermediate MAC value and b bits of the secret key k value. See, both are sent again to second hash function. This hash function creates the final hashed message authentication code of n bits. So here it performs 2 times hashing, so that HMAC it provides more secure and authentication. The second one is the CMAC. CMAC means cipher-based MAC. Cipher-based MAC means actually this is similar to the cipher block chaining. Cipher block CBC. This is CMAC its working style is similar to the cipher block chaining. But in the case of this cipher block chaining, it receives the n blocks and n blocks of plain text and produces the n blocks of ciphertext. But here CMAC receives the n blocks of the plain text but produces only one block of the message authentication code. So this is the main difference between the CBC and CMAC. So in the case of the CBC, it takes n blocks of plain text and produces n blocks of ciphertext. But CMAC takes n blocks of plain text but produces only one block of message authentication code. So here the message is, the plain text is divided into n blocks of m bit size. Here similarly, if the last block size is not m bit size, then padded some last block is padded with some values which you are starting with. This is the start. So you should add the last block with the some binary values which is starting from 1 followed by zeros. First the padding digit is 1, then you can add any number of zeros follows. 1 follows, then zeros. This is the add some padding bits to the last block if it is less than the m bit size. Then the block is generally the first, if you assume there are n blocks, generally the first block here, assume this is the m1 is first block, m2 is second block, m up to mn is the last block. So here the first block of the message m1 is encrypted with the initial it is the key value k, it is encrypted with the m1 is encrypted with the secret key k value. This is the encryption algorithm. So this encryption algorithm produces some output. The output of this algorithm is exclusive ORed with the second block of the message m2. M2 is the second block of the message. This is exclusive OR with the output of the first encryption algorithm. So then this is sent to the second encryption algorithm. This second encryption algorithm uses the same key value for encryption and it produces some output. Again, it's sent to the third message. This is the M3, and by excluding OR in the third block and the output of the second encryption, again encrypted, and is chain. It is this output is sent to the next block. So that's why it is called chaining. That means chaining means the output of the first encryption is sending to the second block. The output of the second encryption is sending to the third block. Likewise, the last but one, the output of the last but one encryption is sent to the last block. So here, but the last block, at the last block, mn, it not only using this is not only exclusive OR with the previous encryption text, it also uses some k value. Actually, this k value is generated by using this k. This is the small k. So this is only for last step, for the last block only. For the last block, the block n is exclusive ORed with its previous encryption algorithm, and it also uses a small k value. Actually, its small k value is generated by using some mechanism with the capital K, this secret key k value. By using this k value only, the small k value is generated, and by applying all these at the last one and apply the encryption algorithm, finally it generates, the last encryption algorithm generates n bit size message authentication code. So this is way of authenticating the messages.